As a child, Michael Jackson was beaten by his father, so as a teenager, Michael Jackson begins taking anti-anxiety pills to help him cope with childhood trauma. After suffering a burn to the head due to an accident in an advertisement, Michael Jackson began taking painkillers heavily. When everything got better, Michael returns to the pills again, because they start accusing him of molesting children, but this time he increases the dose, and Michael began to become addicted to pills. Michael tried to fight his addiction, but to no avail. During diligent rehearsals for his farewell tour, Michael Jackson understands that in order to leave a mark on history he must be impeccable on stage, but his health is no longer the same, and Michael increasingly takes painkillers, sleeps little, and worries a lot. On June 25th, Michael Jackson's doctor forbids him to take medications, but Michael cannot live without pills and persuades the doctor. The doctor injects Michael with one of the drugs and goes to another part of the house. Michael begins to feel severe pain. He understands that he needs to start getting enough sleep in order to be constantly in good shape during rehearsals. Michael injects a few more grams of propofol into the vein mixed with another medicine and immediately falls to the floor. Jackson's heart stopped forever. The doctor runs into the room, sees Michael Jackson on the floor with his eyes open, rushes to his aid and begins to massage the heart, but all in vain. A medical examination showed that the doctor tried so persistently to bring Michael Jackson back to life that during a continuous cardiac massage he broke several of his ribs. They will also find the doctor's tears on Jackson's shirt. After Conard, that was the name of Michael Jackson's doctor, will be accused of killing Michael Jackson. Allegedly, it was he who deliberately gave a lethal injection to Michael Jackson in order to kill him. The doctor in court asked the jury, "Do you really think that I will kill the legend on purpose? Do you really think that I will ruin my reputation at 60 years of age? Why do I even need this? Because if you think that the problem is money, he paid me $150,000 a month. Do you think that I want my children to be ashamed of their murderous father? I'm not a killer, I didn't kill him, I was his friend, I cared about him, I tried to save Michael." And all colleagues spoke only positively about Conard, as a real professional, of which there are so few now. Otherwise Jackson himself would not have hired him to monitor his health. But fans took to the streets demanding that the killer be punished. They asked for the death penalty or death sentence for the doctor. It seemed that they themselves would tear the doctor to shreds if they had such an opportunity. The jury found Conard Murray guilty of the murder of Michael Jackson and imprisoned him for 4 years. People on the street rejoiced. They were happy that at least someone was punished for Jackson's death. 2 years later, the doctor was released for good behavior. But Jackson's former nanny said that she regularly washed his stomach, freeing him from dangerous pills, and therefore saved him from death many times. Grace also claimed that Jackson hid money in garbage bags and under carpets, because closer to 2009, Michael Jackson often crossed the line and gave himself injections. As Jackson himself said, "This is because he feels severe pain. In fact, it was a dependence on the medication." Jackson himself admitted that he was addicted and that he agreed to treatment, but nothing helped. Then the singer decides to place a doctor in his house so that Conard can personally monitor Michael's health and control Jackson's outbursts and passions to take more medicine. Relatives were already hiding money so that Jackson would not buy analogs of his medications. Jackson also hid money in his stash and managed to give himself injections while no one was looking. Michael had 2 bedrooms, one of which with an attached bathroom he could enter himself. He always had a room intended exclusively for him. For everyone else it was closed. Even the maids were not allowed there, it was a forbidden area. I had difficulty convincing him to clean the room where he slept and where I worked with him at night. Among other things, he had bedwetting, the room smelled bad and there was even fungus. I had to make him clean up. Who would have thought that a man his age would wet the bed? Was this a result of medication or a psychological problem dating back to childhood? Doctor said, psychological problem? Love no, violence even. And I mean it wasn't just that his father beat him. Discipline with love, no violence even. His father beat Michael up, affected him both mentally and physically. I saw him cry many times, and I told him, "Don't be ashamed of your tears, Michael. You can cry." This is a very sad story. The life he led, was forced to lead, he suffered a lot. Few people on earth experienced the same pain as him. Dr. Murray had never been in this bathroom. Access was closed even to him. No one had entered this room and it looked like it had not been cleaned for several months. When these photos get into the press and people see what this bathroom looked like, imagine what they will think. Do you think their idea of Michael will change? After the death of Michael Jackson, the financial manager made a statement that Michael Jackson had been bankrupt for more than a year, that he did not give concerts, he did not write new songs, and he did not even have his own house anymore. In recent years, he rented a house in Los Angeles, and the last tour was an attempt to earn money for his old age. He clenched his teeth and said, "He doesn't have a cent, not a single cent. What the hell? Look, this guy has hit rock bottom. By the way, I pay for all this, I even pay for the tissue paper. He doesn't have a cent, and if he cancels his concerts, he's finished." This is Michael's last chance to earn at least some money. He is broke, his pocket is empty, he is a complete zero. In August 2009, a video appeared on the internet showing a man who looks like Michael Jackson getting out of an ambulance. Is Michael Jackson actually alive? Has Michael Jackson really been found? Is it really him? The version that Michael Jackson could have faked his death seems plausible to too many people, so I will talk about all the versions of why Michael Jackson could even come up with the idea of staging his death. What normal person would ever want to throw their own funeral, you ask? An ordinary person may never want to, but Michael was never ordinary, a star, an icon, an example to follow. For many years, day and night, every day, public attention was riveted to him. People did not give him a pass about going to shops, cinema, and on the street. Jackson could forget forever.
Go to the market, like one of those markets, and take one of those carts and throw some food in there and go down the aisle. I would love to do that.
Can you do that?
No, of course not. Of course not. I tried, and the whole place stops. Everybody's chanting and getting your autograph.
Some people believe that Michael was simply tired of the intrusive attention, which did not affect his physical and psychological health too well. They also say that the artist had huge debts, so death, even if not real, was a great way to get rid of them. Unexpectedly for everyone, but after the death of Michael Jackson there was a new wave of popularity. People around the world began to listen to him several times more often. People began to buy albums and watch videos more often. Naturally, this brought huge profits, and it is the profit that is considered the third reason why Michael Jackson decided to fake his death. There is a lot of evidence that the death of Michael Jackson was staged on the internet, and there are also a lot of stories of people who say they saw Michael, talk to him, and that he is alive. Believe it or not, the choice is yours, but I found the most plausible versions. And now I will tell you about them. According to various sources, the last photo of Jackson was taken in an ambulance that transported him from home to the hospital. The photo was supposedly taken from a window, but the problem is that ambulances of this type have glass tinting. That is, there can be no question that the photo was actually taken inside the car, but some say it's just a skillful Photoshop. A huge amount of controversy is caused by the circumstances of the singer's funeral. Firstly, a closed coffin was chosen, which is extremely unusual for the funeral of famous personalities. It caused a lot of controversy that Michael Jackson was alive because the fans really wanted one last look at Michael. Relatives said that the closed coffin was chosen because of the damage that Michael's body received during resuscitation, but is this really so? Secondly, people at the funeral seemed very strange to everyone. Numerous relatives and friends of the star do not look grieving. Moreover, they do not even look sad, such an impression that nothing terrible has happened. Most of the people did not shed a tear, and some were even noticed with a smile on their faces. Maybe relatives and friends knew that it was not worth grieving, because in fact there was no death. By the way, pay attention to the blonde who attended the farewell ceremony. No one knows for sure who she is, but some argue that this is Michael Jackson himself under makeup. To be honest, even it seems to me that they are somewhat similar. An interesting fact, it seemed to a lot of people that Michael Jackson was alive in this photo. His daughter posted this photo in March 2016. But do you think the rear dark figure looks like a singer? During his short but amazing life, Michael managed to help a huge number of people. One of them is Dave. His real name is David Rothenberg. When he was very young, due to one terrible incident, he received 90% of body burns. The story received a huge response. Then Michael found out about it. He paid for the boy's treatment, plastic surgery, and talked a lot with him. As a result, Dave was even called Michael's son. Fans claim that Dave is Michael Jackson himself. At some point after the death of the singer, Dave disappeared from people's sight, and people believe that Michael, with the help of makeup artists, took on his appearance. Physiognomists claim that Dave and Michael have the same oval face, the same gestures, they even purse their lips incredibly similarly. Moreover, the similarity can be traced even in their voice.
Encino House. I think I was at the Encino House. Encino House. Encino House.
I don't believe in this version at all, but I voiced it, since it is very popular on the internet and among people. Now I will tell one touching story so that you understand what a wonderful person Michael Jackson was. Michael Jackson was very involved in charity work and helped poor and sick children. One story really touched me. Once in 1994, in one of the hospitals in Budapest, Michael Jackson saw Bel Forkas, a little boy who was born with a liver defect, and because of this his parents abandoned him. He urgently needed a transplant and Michael Jackson paid for it. And after the transplant, Jackson paid the boy for the next 10 years of treatment. As a result, the boy recovered, he was adopted, and he grew up healthy and happy. Here's another story for you. The story of a little boy who, by mistake of doctors, was infected with AIDS during a blood transfusion. In 1997, before his performance in Milan, Michael Jackson invited the boy and his mother to the dressing room, talked to him and found out how his health was, but the most touching moment was during the concert, when during one song Michael Jackson held the boy in his arms, in front of thousands of spectators. Later, the mother of the child wrote a letter to Michael. "I will never forget what you did for my son. After our meeting the doctors talked about a miracle, and for several months it was as if he had never been ill with anything. My child is no longer with us. Well, I know he's always watching you from over there. Thank you, Michael." And there are hundreds of such stories. During his life, Michael Jackson donated $300 million to charity. The singer created his own charitable foundation, and also helped others. One of the most popular theories is that the former king of pop faked his own death to escape his crushing debt and mounting legal problems. Back in August 2009, was posted a video of Jackson exiting a coroner's van with the message, "I checked the license plate number and it looks like the king of pop is jumping out of the same van his dead body has been in. I got the original videotape from a trustworthy source. I know him for years. And I am sure it's real and Michael is alive." This man is very similar to Jackson, hair type, height and image of a person. But do you believe that this is really Michael? Personally, I don't know, I just want to believe that he is fine, wherever he is now. Some believe that Jackson is somewhere far away and now he really feels good. He is where he is not blamed, where there is a calm and happy life. Fans are so unwilling to believe in the loss of their idols that they will believe in their lives for a very long time. There are many versions according to which celebrities could survive, but these are just versions. It will always seem to us that they are somewhere near, with us, but all we can do is just remember them. Michael Jackson's appearance has changed throughout his career and many condemned Michael for his plastic surgery, but Michael himself in all his interviews says that he only had nose surgery to ease his breathing after an injury and in order to sing better. Michael had a lot of injuries. For example, in 1979, while dancing, Michael Jackson performed a trick and broke his nose. Because of this incident, Jackson had breathing problems. Then for the first time in his life, Michael Jackson did a rhinoplasty of the nose. Another unpleasant incident occurred in 1984. Michael took part in an advertisement for Pepsi. His hair caught fire due to a fireworks mishap. The company was slapped with a civil suit in court for the damage and paid a huge fine. Jackson terminated his contract with Pepsi-Cola quickly after the incident. He underwent rhinoplasty surgery and later donated $1.5 million to the medical center in California that treated his burns. Jackson's skin complexion has been the subject of debate as to why a black man turned his skin into white. Jackson's skin began to become covered with white spots and soon his skin completely changed color to white. Michael had a rare disease, vitiligo. People believing he had bleached his skin. Many believed that he hated his black skin and wanted to look white. His postmortem after his death in 2009 determined that he was affected by vitiligo. Vitiligo is a chronic autoimmune disorder that causes patches of skin to lose pigment or color. This happens when melanocytes, skin cells that make pigment, are attacked and destroyed, causing the skin to turn a milky white color. Michael Jackson was very concerned about his appearance. He was an icon of that time and he needed to look fresh and young. Because of this, there were speculations that Jackson slept in an oxygen tank for long life. Why did he do it? In order to live over 100 years. It is said that Jackson said something similar in one interview. He used the boracamera in a hospital where he was treated for burns and was ready to purchase such a device for use at home, but this is just a myth. The truth sounds like this. The singer donated a large amount of money to create a children's burn center. At the opening of this center, Jackson was asked to enter the oxygen barracks for patients with extensive body burns, and he did not refuse. These shots were the ones that created the myth that the king of pop slept in a pressure chamber to maintain his appearance. But the opening of the children's center was the only time Jackson climbed into such an oxygen tank. Few people know, but Michael Jackson lived in a theme park. The pop star lived life king size. But there is one aspect of his ranch that's lesser known. He had turned half of his ranch into an amusement park. It consisted of a zoo, roller coasters, railroads, bumper cars, a Ferris wheel, and a carousel. It was named Neverland, after the fictional place where Peter Pan lived. I want to give children childhood, because childhood is the best time in the life of every person. Michael in his own park begins to play with children and they begin to accuse him of seducing children. Michael does not respond to the yellow press and there was no evidence either. But in 2002, after another accusation, Michael Jackson offended by the whole world. He did not want anything, he could not sleep, not eat, he did not understand. Why? I write songs, I give concerts, I give happiness to children, and they accuse me of what I would never do.
At every opportunity, the media has dissected and manipulated these allegations to reach their own conclusions. I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth before you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent. I have been forced to submit to a dehumanizing and humiliating examination by the Santa Barbara County Sheriff Department and the Los Angeles Police Department earlier this week. They served a search warrant on me which allowed them to view and photograph my body, including my penis, my buttocks, my lower torso, thighs, and any other area that they wanted. It was the most humiliating ordeal of my life, one that no person should ever have to suffer. But if this is what I have to endure to prove my innocence, my complete innocence.
During his concerts, Michael Jackson visited orphanages around the world. Most of these cases, Michael Jackson hid from the public, unwilling to attract too much attention to yourself, because the one who helps from the bottom of his heart does not want this to be given any publicity. Michael Jackson, who helped thousands of kids around the world, was labeled a pedophile. In 2003, Michael gave a short interview. I was shocked how evil people are.
Like I said before, and I've said a million times, I'm not afraid to say it. If there were no children on this earth, if somebody announced all kids are dead, I would jump off the balcony immediately. I'm done.
What happened when they arrested you? What did they do to you?
They were supposed to go in and just check fingerprints and do the whole thing that they do when they take somebody in. They manhandled me very roughly. My shoulder is dislocated, literally. It's hurting me very badly. I'm in pain all the time. See this arm? This is as far as I can reach it. Same with this side over here.
Because of what happened at the police station?
Yeah, at the police station. And what they did to, if you saw what they did to my arms, it was very bad what they did.
How did they do it? I mean, physically, what did they do?
With the handcuffs, the way they tied them too tight behind my back.
Behind your back?
Yeah, and they put it in a certain position, knowing that it's going to hurt and affect my back. Now I can't move. It keeps me from sleeping at night. One time I asked to use the restroom, and they said, sure, it's right around the corner there. Once I went in the restroom, they locked me in there for like 45 minutes. There was doo-doo, feces thrown all over the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and it stunk so bad. Then one of the policemen came by the window and he made a sarcastic remark. He said, does it smell good enough for you in there? How do you like the smell? Is it good? And I just simply said, it's all right, it's okay. So I just sat there and waited.
For 45 minutes?
Yeah, for 45 minutes, about 45 minutes.
Michael Jackson's obsession over his appearance is mainly due to his abusive father, who would always troll his physical appearance and even call him Fat Nose. This led to Jackson having 4 rhinoplasties and excessively fussing about his face, skin, and body for the rest of his adult life. But the operation on the nose was unsuccessful, so people thought that Michael was specially doing plastic surgeries one by one. Supposedly he had nowhere to put money, but in fact, his nose was in a terrible state. They even said that Michael Jackson's nose was no longer to correct. Few people know what is really Michael Jackson died from overdosing on a combination of sedatives and prescribed medication. Jackson's in-home doctor, Conrad Murray, was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. The doctor tried to save Michael, but he didn't succeed. The doctor ran into the room, began to massage the heart, but it was too late. Michael Jackson died.